Welcome back to Right on the Money, the go-to resource for your financial decisions. Now, today, our guest, Matthew Gallagher, certified financial planner of Gallagher Financial Group, and we have been talking today about Matthew's new book. We got it right here, Greener Pastures, From Bombay and Boston to the Bulls and Bear, available on Amazon.com. So Matthew, we've been talking about your book, which is a fantastic book. Again, I can't stress this enough. I love the fact that it is about stories and not about textbook material and formulas and facts and figures. It is so relatable. So I have to ask you, So one of the chapters that I also really love is titled Matthew's Reason to Fear Not. And you share a very formative story of what happened to you early on in your life. Do you want to just touch on that? Well, let's tease the audience just a little bit.
All right, I'm all for teasing. And by the way, thank you for what you said. That's how I operate. You know, when I sit down with people, I want the visits. We can do 50 PowerPoints and all those things, but the visits are kind of like our show today, where we're just sitting here and talking. And I think because of that, it lends to a relationship, which is what we focus on. And speaking of relationship, we were talking about that story you asked me about, reasons to fear, why not. Early on, all right, Dad had a Mercedes. He had saved up, he'd wanted one, he got a Mercedes, he took clients out in it all the time. And me being a 15-year-old kid and him having a Mercedes was a perfect storm, because I've got a permit, I'm ready to drive. What am I gonna drive? Now, he had also just bought Mom a new car too.
Yep.
And so he was the guinea pig and he let me drive that. But we're on the way to church one night, Wednesday night, rainy, dark, all those fun things. Probably wasn't as dark or rainy as I'm describing.
A dark and stormy night.
A dark and stormy night. That's going to start my next book, I think.
I like it.
And well, thank you. I just came up with that. And so it's rainy, it's dark, remember Dad saying something about quit, screwing with the radio, whatever. Because we're driving and I'm trying to find the perfect station, being a 15-year-old kid who knows better. Turn on the road. By the way, nothing bad should ever happen. Just throw this out there when you're on your way to church. I've got a problem with that, but it happened. Turn, apparently, now according to the police, if you're going to take their side, it was my fault, and my dad also said it was my fault.
But who's here to judge?
But who's here to judge? I'm not judging, you're not judging. So, pulled out in front of somebody, they slam on their brakes, but it's rainy, and slam right into us. And send us flying into a ditch. Totaled their Mercedes. And it was a mess. It was obviously a traumatic time for a 15-year-old because it was dual. It wasn't just the accident. By the way, the police had said when they showed up that it took the front part of the car all the way to the engine. And they said if it was even a split second later, it would have killed us because it would have been the door. So it was a very traumatic thing. One of your most traumatic things you ever had happen in your life, if not the most. And obviously, I'm not going to tell you what ended up happening from that, but I will tell you that I'm alive today, and I drive today. After that, I didn't want to get back in a car, even as a passenger. But my point to you is, there are things that happen that shape your lives. Maybe it's earlier in life, maybe it's later in life. A lot of people have these in their 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, and it could be all kinds of things. But it's how you respond to that.
Absolutely.
So I tell the story, and you're thinking, what does that have to do with finances? A lot. Because a lot of people have had bad experiences in the past, past 20 years, multiple major market corrections, multiple things where people are just very fearful. And they're afraid of, I've worked so hard, I've lost so much, what do I do?
One of the things we talked about off camera, you just said a word that really struck me, and this is right from today's headlines, basically.
Sure.
It feels like there's a lot of negativity out there, and we hear not just financial, but in a way culturally.
Of course.
And in fact, what we were talking about is there's somebody that has a quote where, what is it? We don't
win anymore. Yes, off camera. We don't win anymore. And then, of course, even before him, there was that other actor who had the winning. I think that was the guy who jumped on the coffee table, which you've asked me not to do, so
yes,
I won't today. No jumping on the coffee table. But yes, the winning. This book, my goal with this is for you to be financially winning. In other words, I want to put this in a way where you understand it, not so you get it. If you get it, my book's a failure. It's that you get it and you take action. And because of those actions you take, because of a book you actually understood when you don't like reading financial books, that you can look back. And winning, by the way, not to be cheesy, but what is winning? Winning is being able to retire when you were hoping to, buying that dream home and spending time there with your spouse, traveling to see the kids. whatever that looks like to you, whatever that dream is that you're working and spending all these weekends and hours on. That's winning.
For everybody that reads this book, and for anybody considering getting the book, you absolutely have to buy it. That story is fantastic. The rest of the story is amazing. Bless your parents. Bless their hearts. And any parent that has teenage sons.
Yes.
But again, the story and the fact that it is about not being paralyzed by fear and getting back up and making those decisions. Otherwise, we could just sit there and not take any action.
Right. Well, and people, you look at this and like, wow, that was, totaling a $60,000 Mercedes is a lot different than, losing $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 of your retirement, half your retirement maybe in the market, because you're afraid to take actions. Sometimes being paralyzed doesn't mean you don't get back in the game. It means you get in, and then you're afraid when you feel like there's something pulling at you or telling you, hey, I need to make a change, I need to do something, but you're just afraid of, because for some people, the fear is, I don't want to miss out on something good. And that fear of what could I make, how, it's the whole what pigs get slaughtered, and you get, that fear of what I could miss out on sometimes actually drives people the other way, and they stay in an unwise situation. And unfortunately, for many millions of Americans who had to go back to work, that was the case. One
of the things that we hadn't talked about is the fact that you're a CFP, Certified Financial Planner.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that, because there is so much talk in the media right now about making sure that someone is a fiduciary, and are they a professional? Tell us a little bit about that, because for those of us that do know, that is a very impressive designation.
Thank you. Certified Financial Planner is like being a neurosurgeon, but for finances. It's the top designation that you can have. And it's very important that people have that, because it's great if they're friendly and they're knowledgeable and you know them from church, but how competent are they? And is there anybody actually watching what they're doing to make sure that they stay with integrity and that they put your needs? So the fiduciary is putting not just something that would help you, not just something suitable, but putting the best possible solution in place for you. There's a difference. A lot of things could be suitable, but am I, in the scale of suitability, am I feeding my own interest? And the fiduciary means to take the very best thing for you, for the client, not for the planner, not for their commission, not for the best thing for the client, and to choose that. And that's actually under oversight to help make sure they do that. So if you're not working with a certified financial planner, you could be making a big mistake.
You could be getting some bad advice.
Could be.
So we're gonna take a break. So after the break, we've got more with Matthew. We're also going to talk about how the angry bird catches the worms. I'm excited to get into that. That's coming up on Right on the Money.